So how can a presence in Canada make your business better? There's a link here in the description. We help businesses of different sizes at different stages in this journey to success in Canada. First of all, there's the issue of things that we don't see, but they are there. So things that sit in that blind spot that we have, right? So why don't I see? Because I'm not used to it. I listed here one very specific thing that is vital for everybody's businesses. Here's what happens in many countries, if you're listening to us, is because you're from an emerging country, right? Where there's a lot of inequalities in the society, as opposed to a G7 country like Canada, Western Europe, United States. Well, in emerging countries, very often we have a disconnect between value and price. What do I mean? For example, the country where I am originally from, there is a focus on lower prices and minimum investment. That's what everybody is looking for when they're deciding to buy something. They're gonna say, oh, but I'm not gonna buy this one because there's another one that's cheaper. Or I'm not gonna make this investment because it's gonna cost me money. So I'm gonna improvise this other way without spending the money. And why that happens is not because people are not smart. People are smart everywhere, but people adapt to their realities, whatever they are, right? So this is the mindset sometimes in these emerging countries, these countries that are typically societies, that there's a little bit of low trust among members, right? People may think first, oh, somebody's gonna cheat me once they get my money. If I pay them a lot of money for a service, well, they're just interested in getting my money. They're not gonna provide the service of the high quality that they say. So there's usually that perception, like, I have to watch my back all the time because somebody's trying to cheat me, right? The other thing is like, well, but my client is all the time saying they're gonna leave me, they're threatening me, they're saying there's a competitor offering better prices and all that. So I feel the need in many countries to bend backwards so I don't lose my client to a lower bidder. That means the fight is over prices, right? Where there's such a very acute thinking about the price. And you see what happens here in all this discussion? Nobody's talking about value. Nobody's talking about the impact, the positive impact that my client is gonna experience when they buy my product or my service from me. The discussion is price, price, price. Oh, but it's too expensive. It's a crisis of confidence, of trust, that generates this lack of symmetry between value and price. In Canada, what we hear all the time is one interesting phrase: you get what you pay. So that means nobody expects to get a lot of value and pay very cheap price. They're gonna be suspicious. And on the other hand, if they are convinced that there's a lot of value, they are prepared and ready to pay a lot of money for it because they see the value. You see, this is a very important nuance that, for example, where I grew up, it doesn't exist. People want to pay the lower price anyways, but I live in Canada for most of my adult life. And here I can see that there is this symmetry between the value that I receive and the price that I'm expecting to pay. That's very important. So this is a constraint, right? That maybe in your country of origin, you have all these fights that you need to be having all the time with the market, with your clients, whatever, so you don't lose clients or acquire new clients, but the conversations are all around price, price, price. And guess what happens? Your profit margins get squeezed because of that, right? Because you keep trying to add more value, deliver more things, but all people are interested is in paying the lowest price. So that's a challenge. So what is possible in an environment like Canada? So we're talking here about why a presence in Canada can be good for your business. So let's pay a lot of attention to what comes now, right? Which is, what is the possibility we're talking about here? At some point, you can make more money with less back and forth negotiation with your clients, with the market, without that grinding effort, without that painful negotiation over time, the haggling over prices. So at some point you can do that. And how do you do that? You do that by providing a very niche solution, meaning, yes, it's narrow, you're not selling necessarily to everybody, but for those specific people that are going to be buying from you, or those specific businesses that have that specific problem that you solve, you are the perfect fit. So it's niche. Then there is a focus on the value that you bring through your niche solution. But look how much better your life is going to be. Look how much money you're going to save. Look how much more possibilities you have, how much flexibility, how much more intelligence, the managerial capabilities that you add to your business. You focus on value, 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 value. And then what happens is that prices are aligned with the higher value. What happens is that your price gets pushed up. That means you are able to charge more for what you do, for what you sell, and you are less involved in what we call here bargain basement fights. So see, this is how a presence in Canada can benefit your business even back home. It's a cultural shift in the way you do business, even your salespeople. I have been in sales for a very long time in my life. And you know what? It's very tempting for a salesperson to lower the price to make sure they don't lose the deal. That's may be good to meet a specific sales quota for one specific individual for one specific month, but that is not good at all for the business over time and for the business owner, for the shareholder, because there is an erosion of the profit margin. When you're not confident about the value of what you sell, you will bend backwards and sell for lower prices, meaning you make less money. So this is the cultural shift that is within reach for you when you set up an operation, an office in Canada. You start to be part of this value-driven society where price is a consequence of the high value they're receiving. So your business goes through that transformation to think more about value, better margins, because you deserve it, because you create the innovation, because you create the niche solution, because you add a lot of value to your clients. And yes, it's fair that prices are aligned with value, so a lot of value commands more prices. So how is this even possible in Canada? Because it's a high trust environment, right? There's an understanding that you get what you pay. There's a symmetry between value and prices. Your quality is valued. The quality of what you sell is valued. So what is really possible when you're set up an operation in Canada, when you set up a business in Canada, is that you're gonna have higher profits, or not you're gonna have, it is within reach for you to have higher profits, less effort, more financial predictability, and higher confidence in the way you conduct business. And guess what? These four things permeate your organization as a whole. I've seen many examples time and again that a company comes here, opens an office in Canada, and even back in their country of origin, they start to become more profitable because they internally gather and they gain that confidence that they create true value that should be rewarded fairly. Okay? So how do you start that journey? We have this program, Your Business in Canada. Click here in the link in the description and let's talk.